Hello, this is Vaidevą, and I will represent Lithuania in Eurovision 13 with my song Laboratory Rat. So, in this video I will explain the detailed meaning behind the lyrics of this song. So let's start with the beginning. When I sing arsenic, sulfur, arsenic, silicon, nitrogen, sulfur, this is actually a hidden message for the scientific community, and thus that's why I use the periodic table elements to send this message. When you put the symbols for each element that I mentioned, the word that's spelled out is assassins. In the end of the song, I refer to these elements again, but before that I say they are, and it's because the song and the message I want to bring for the scientific community is that they are assassins, they are killers, they are murderers of innocent lives. So when we move on to the first verse and we talk about they bring you to a wide room, we're obviously talking about the process of bringing a new rat or a new species to a laboratory to test on them. So in the fourth line I mentioned, you're worthless in the eyes of progress, which is something that sounds soulless and despicable, and that's actually the mentality that scientists have. So that's why I want to lay it raw on the lyrics, because they think that rats and animals and every other species are worthless in the eyes of progress for the human species. But that's a selfish thought, and the worst thing of all is that it's self-centered in humans. We finish the first verse with, and if you somehow stay alive, they'll make sure to extract your brain. This is a reference to Félicette, a cat that was adopted by French researchers to send into space, and after surviving the trip, they euthanized her to examine her brain. So, and for me it's amazing, this story, because it means that even when animals survive the horrors of scientific experimentation, at the end they will die some or the other way. It's very sad, the story of Félicette, because she made an incredible accomplishment for such an animal, but she died anyways. She was killed to extract her brain. Before the chorus we have this ominous chant that says, "Laboratory rats, beware little ones of the people in white coats." This is a warning because in the chorus I explain about how they're going to die, how they're like living the torture. So this pre-chorus is like a warning for them of what's to come. Obviously it's an artistic choice. Then we move to the chorus that says, "Laboratory rats, be ready for tortures. Only exit is to die, because obviously they don't have the power to fight humans in such a controlled environment. And what goes will end your lives," is the phrase that ends both halves of the chorus, because it's the ultimate truth that scientists will end their lives. But before that we also see law doesn't mind your horrors, because law is still not protecting animals against these cruel conducts. They are protected in some way, but that's not enough. They doesn't mind the horrors, they just mind an appearance that animals are treated well when in reality they are not. And then it follows with, "You're in devil's hands." With this I'm referring again to scientists, and I'm comparing to the devil because of this soulless behavior that they often participate in by doing animal testing and animal experimentation. The second verse starts with, "Your workplaces might be clean and white, but it's tainted by defenseless blood spilled inside." And this is because obviously scientific laboratories are always clean to not disturb the environment. But for most of the population, they don't think like that, and they see laboratories as this clean place, as this prestigious place, when in actually there's so much blood that's spilled inside with these experiments that I'm referring to in this song. That the appearance might be clean and white, but it's actually very dark and nasty what happens there. And obviously defenseless blood, because they're little animals that cannot fight against us humans, which only makes it worse because it's defenseless blood that doesn't even have a chance to survive in. The fourth line mentions destroying your vision with corrosive gas, and this is a direct reference to the Dre's test, which is one of the most popular tests in animal experimentation. They test a substance or product by placing it in the eyes of an animal, and is often intensely painful for the animal, is blindness, scarring, and death is common in the end results of this test. Following that, I mentioned another test that is mentioned with attaching to your belly a gateway to pain, pumping you with poison that'll last for days. This one refers to the other common experiment for animal testing, and this one is the LD50 test. This one is for testing how much of a substance is necessary to an animal to die. And to know this, they hook the animals to tubes that pump huge amounts of the test product into their stomachs until they die. This test is extremely painful to the animals because death can take days or even weeks. So that's why in the song I'm mentioning attaching to your belly a gateway to pain, pumping you with poison that lasts for days. It's a direct reference to this horrible test, to this immoral test that should be banned, but somehow it's still there. Let's finish with the end of the second verse that says, "It's very fun to play God and Axad as if you had any choice about your sacrifice." The first line refers to scientists, how they play God with animals, and then Axad that they had to do it and that there's no other way, but that in reality is false. It's just an act to justify the horrible things they do to animals. And then in the second line, I refer to them saying as if they had any choice about their sacrifice. Like, it's not like they consented to it, and that's the main point of laboratory rats. That's the main point of why animal testing should be banned. Animals cannot consent to these experiments. Animals cannot consent to suffering these horrors. Animals cannot consent, and this is the reason why you cannot take them and put them through horrible tests for some higher purpose, as if they were a mere tool for humans. But in reality, they deserve the respect because they live, they are conscious, they feel, they think, they behave, and they experience pain and horror. So that would be everything for this lyrics explanation. Thank you so much for listening. Vote for Lithuania if you like my song, and remember, defend the defenseless.